thank you so much for joining us today right here on Take 10. We come to you every week with a look at a variety of mental health and related issues as they impact caregiving, caregivers, and care recipients. Our co-host, Dr. Jamie Huysman, nationally known as a psychotherapist, a specialist in addictions and caregiving and a whole lot more, and Carol Zernial. Carol holds a master's degree in social gerontology, 30 years of experience in the field. She's co-chair of the Raise Family Caregiving Advisory Council and executive director of the WellMed Charitable Foundation. So, Dr. Jamie, it is no secret we're living in a world where there is no balance, no stability, and a tremendous amount of anxiety. And Carol, what was the question you wanted to pose to him?
Well, right now, we recently had a guest from the National Alliance for Caregiving, Jason Resendez, who was on Caregiver SOS on air. And we said, what's kind of a worst case scenario with everything that's going on in the world besides the stock market? What's the other worst case scenario for caregivers? And he said continued instability. So, Jamie, if you're a caregiver and you already feel like you're on the roller coaster ride, just you and your family and what you're going through, what does instability in the environment do to an unstable family life?
Well, he really put it properly. It probably was, I can't wait to really go dive into that interview, because literally I am a caregiver and you are too. I'm the first caree inside of me, and I have to be a caregiver for myself and reparenting myself so I'm healthy enough to attract neurosafe people around me, which means I have to take care of my mind, my body, and my spirit first, and before I take care of a loved one. That's why we say take your oxygen first. But what he says is so true, and everything around us is so impermanent. And I make a real plug here for a good book called When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. Because literally we take ourselves everywhere we go, right? When John Kabat-Zinn says, everywhere you go, there you are, the world is unstable. If we're not taking care of our mind, our body, and our spirit, developing resilience in our own mind, then realize that we're powerless over all these things around us, except through the voting, booth. We need to obviously realize we have to take care of our response to this. And it's a lot of stuff. I mean, I call it a poop show going on all around us that's dysregulating us. Everywhere we look is a trigger that takes us back to a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. I'm going through this as well, like you are, and we're looking at our 401ks, and I'm at the age where we're going to the next place, and I'm seeing, look, my whole life's falling apart. What do I do? And so got to take care of myself. Got to really go and rebuild my resilience, realize I am powerless over this, but I'm not powerless over creating stability under my feet.
Well, one of the things, Jamie, that I love that you talk about are lily pads, which is sort of a cheerful green landing spot. Can we build ourselves lily pads even in a storm?
We can, and we can actually find those lily pads ourselves all around us. We can be our own treatment planner, our own, I call trauma coach. So we can go and realize that the key to this world that's shaking underneath us, or, this amorphous sort of earthquake all around us, is really emotionally regulating, taking care of ourselves, and stress reduction, which is really retraining the brain, and hanging around healthy people. That's literally the response that we have to have for our neurological system. So we're not on one leg and get on two in these crazy times. Why? We need to be our treatment planner. I need to go to Caregiver SOS. Number one, if I need healthy people around me, I need to be in groups that are healthy and swimming in the same direction, none that are toxic and overbearing and beat me down and do the same thing that we're feeling out there. And I need to make sure I make a concerted effort to lay out a treatment plan for myself. So if I'm actually stressed and overwhelmed at that moment, I learn breath work or meditations or Pilates or yoga or dance. And that's what we have to do. And then we find the lily pad as we grow our resilience, as we actually change our brains. And so the beauty of Caregiver SOS and the beauty of what the WellMed Charitable Foundation does, it does it so well for caregivers.
For those who don't know, Carol, what is Caregiver SOS?
So Caregiver SOS are our caregiver programs operated by the WellMed Charitable Foundation. And for those listening, they can go to caregiversos.org, find our caregiver teleconnection, which is online. education and support. We run support groups. If you're in a toxic, abusive relationship, you can go to Jamie's Star Network and find out information about that. So there are resources out there. And the one image, when I think about the lily pads being landing pads, the other one I want to think about is we as a body of caregivers, as we as a family of caregivers can link arms together, right, and support each other and say, this is what we need as caregivers, and use our own voices and speak up for what we need.
That is the key, is we realize that we matter and have a voice. And I'll say this is the old Buddhist phrase and metaphor we're using. So I love the fact that you're using the word lily pad. But the rest of that phrase is, it's a lily pad to the spiritual shore. So there has to be an end game here. And I think as soon as we own ourselves, our confidence, we know who we are. As caregivers, we provide over almost $400 billion of in-kind care. We matter. I do think we should do exactly what you're saying, Carol. We should connect. We can realize we do have a voice. We need to help the person next to us feel safe as we help ourselves to feel safe. But we can't isolate, right? Again, don't isolate, don't isolate, don't isolate. We need to really take ourselves and bring ourselves to the world after we take care of ourselves first.
Let me bring folks in who may have just joined us. You're listening to Take 10. I'm Ron Aaron, along with Dr. Jamie Huysman. Carol Zernial, our co-host, is here as well. We're talking about a world that is clearly unstable, a world that is threatening to our very existence in so many ways. And Carol, what do you hear from caregivers?
Well, I think that caregivers, again, kind of like in the pandemic. So, is the world falling apart? Yeah, well, it was already falling apart before anything else happened. And so everybody else feeling unstable and frightened, welcome to my world. But the programs, the changes in government programs that many caregivers rely on, that they may not even understand our government programs. They may not understand their Meals on Wheels that their mom is getting delivered actually is funded through the Older Americans Act. They may not realize that Medicaid is on the table to be reduced, and that's what they rely on to provide those personal care services for the person that they're caring for, or that Medicare doesn't cover long-term care, and it's really important to maintain Medicare. So there's a lot of government involvement in our daily lives, and for the people who say, keep the government out of my Medicare, which the government runs Medicare, there's a lot of misunderstanding. And I think caregivers might be surprised if they were looking at the headlines with new eyes about how that might impact their daily life.
I agree. And I can tell you right now, I mean, I'm getting friends of mine, one patient in particular who lost her leg when she fell is calling me and finding her services aren't available. And I'm actually pulling a credit card out and trying to help her. I call it a good deed, a mitzvah. And I'm trying to pay for people to pick up that, because you're 100% right, Carol. The services that are all around us that help those who are disabled or seniors or boomers, they are worth fighting for, and they're desperately needed. So I think that we all need to take our issues and bring it to the world and say how important it is. And doing it through the WellMed Charitable Foundation, or coming to the Star Network, is their strength in numbers. There's also people there that will support you, co-regulate, understand you, be compassionate, and help you find that lily pad so that you can make it to the spiritual shore. What does co-regulate mean? Oh, it's like two people together, two safe people together. If you have a dog, which I love, my dog, he's our emotional support dog. His neurology, his safeness connects with my daughter, and they both kind of co-regulate. How's that? They both stay together and help keep each other safe. It's my energy and your energy, Ron. That's why we hope people around us are taking care of themselves. And those who are not, I say, get out of here. And you didn't raise them. It's not your responsibility. But eventually, hopefully, they'll be attracted to your energy, and you'll find the right people. But that's what co-regulation is. It's the key to recovery.
Thank you. Got to stop you right there. Flat out of time. Dr. Jamie Huysman, thank you so much. Carol Zernial, thank you. I'm Ron Aaron. We'll talk with you again soon on Take 10.